There's something really interesting that happens when you when you start to consume ideas that are uplifting, positivity, success mindset stuff. It amplifies everything you're already doing. So if you're someone who's disciplined, you're someone who takes their life seriously, not too seriously, but seriously enough to progress and find enrichment and value and fulfillment in that. When you also add in a little bit of reading, like reading uplifting stuff, like self improvement, it does something for your mind, especially if you're reading from authors that are uber successful. Your mind takes on the thinking that they are in when you're reading their words, because you're exposed. It's like being in their presence. And I never thought about it this way. I actually read that somewhere on, I think it was Twitter, or I saw it on a YouTube video, I don't know, but I was exposed to that thought first. It's not, I didn't come up with it, but it brought to the surface this idea, this realization that when I was reading Think and Grow Rich, there's something that the author says in there, which is towards the end of the book, he says, now I know that you reading this book in some way or another, we have met through these words. And I was like, that's an interesting, really like metaphysical woo-woo thing to say. I wonder what that really means. And I kind of thought I understood what it meant. I figured it meant, well, I'm reading your words, therefore it's like you're speaking to me and you're here. But it never really clicked to me how that wasn't really to be taken lightly. It's pretty wild. I mean, I also think of it another way. I believe that, at the core is that we're all the same person. We're all one, right? And when you're reading someone's book and you're reading their ideas and you find yourself whilst reading their ideas and their words, that person that you're finding is definitely the real you, but you're also meeting the real them because it was through their words in conjunction with your mind, with your attention, that you became aware of it. You're also you really are meeting someone. It's like you're in their presence, which, a book is like the cheapest thing to be in someone's presence. If you just look up anyone that's living the life that you would like to live, you find out that they have a book, especially an autobiography. I heard someone talking about this as well, is that when you read an autobiography instead of a biography, it's a lot more enriching. It's a lot more valuable because you're getting to read about this person's life in the way that they think about their life. Therefore, getting a more pure and a more direct access to the juice of what makes this person who they are. Isn't that so cool? It inspires me now to think about more people that are out there that are uber successful in my eyes in the way that I see success. And it inspires me and it drives me to want to look up any kinds of writings or any kind of content that they have and just consume it and just be enthralled in it. Obviously still producing my own content, but that's not what this is about. This video is about creating a mastermind, which Napoleon Hill talks about, creating your mastermind. In your mastermind, he used this principle to get in contact with the spirit of Abraham Lincoln, Benjamin Franklin, I think Edwin C. Barnes was in there, and a few other people. And he did this in his imagination. He had this concept of each character, and as he would fall asleep, I believe, he would have these meetings, like a round table meetings with these people, which it got to a point where he had to stop because he was afraid that his mind was not going to be able to identify whether this was an illusion or not, whether he was really in the presence of these beings or if it was just his imagination. It got so real. That should be another aha moment to you, that repetition, that doing something often enough, your mind starts to not be able to tell the difference between fact or fiction. Everything we see in life, everything built in life, everything that's ever achieved is done from the premise of faith. It's done from the premise of factivity, if we want to call it that, of conviction, of what I say is what it is. There's no negotiation. It's just what it is. And I'm living and I'm acting in accordance with that mindset of that identity of the person that puts he understands that there's no negotiating. He decides that what I decide to be is what is, right? From that standpoint of power, you're not asking for power. You already have it. You're remembering it and you're claiming it. Yeah, neat stuff, man. Really cool shit. It's so cool to talk about this stuff because really what fascinates me the most about life is the whole you become what you think about and thoughts become things, and that's like the only thing you need to create the life you want. There is an identity that I carry with me at all times of the day that I only dreamt about having like 5 years ago. And it's so funny how it's happened because I wanted it so bad. And when I would repeat these affirmations to myself in my car, in the dark, out in the middle of nowhere, it was my time to communicate with God. It was my time to communicate with the universe, to communicate with whatever was out there or inside of me, and say that I asked. I couldn't say that I didn't make a valiant effort in asking for what it is that I wanted. And some nights it was really, the pain was it was so strong because the reality of where I was did not match at all what it is that I wanted, who it was that I wanted to be, the reality that I was looking for, that I was looking to experience, the experiences that I was looking to have. They were so far away. But in my mind, I trained myself to create that burning desire that he talks about in the book. And it was like a little bit of anger in there, but it was a productive anger. It was an anger of, I'm going to make this happen through hell or high water. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I cannot go on living this way. And I did that for months. And I've come to this point now where I don't read pages and pages of those same affirmations anymore. I have one that encompasses everything, basically. I've been able to do that with AI, but it's also been inspired by my past writings. So it's not purely AI, it's still human. It's still got my human touch in it. It's got my human inspiration in there. It's actually got that drama in there, right? It's not so robotic and like anyone could have written it. It came from years and years of self-hypnosis, of using the law of attraction to convince myself of the life that I wanted, to know that it existed somewhere and that someday it would exist with me. And it was slow. It was a slow ride because I didn't always feel like I had it. A lot of times it felt like it was outside of me. Through all those trial and errors, I came to a realization in a book called Conversations with God, the first one, that I came to a starting realization that the melodrama of my life was all out of my own choosing. Like, I chose to be sad. I chose to feel like a victim. Everything in my life was me. Yes, there's other people. Everything is still always a reflection of who we are to ourselves. People see who we are to ourselves before they see who we are to them. How we relate to ourselves, like who we are to ourselves, how we treat ourselves. Do we work on ourselves? Do we wake up early? Do we do what we're supposed to do? People can pick up on that. And when they see that someone is the type of person that values themselves, they're going to unconsciously feel as though you are someone to value. And the same happens on the opposite. If you don't act that way, they're going to feel like you're not the type of person that they need to value. And you can't even fault them for it because it's an unconscious, it's really the efficiency of energy. Energy goes where it's respected, right? So if you respect your own energy, you're going to attract more of that type of energy. You're going to attract more energy because energy goes where it's respected. Energy goes where it's respected. Where energy flows, where attention goes, energy flows, right? And people don't want to pay attention to something that's hard to look at. If you are low down on yourself, if you don't take care of yourself, if you look unkempt, people don't want to give any of that attention. They will look for someone that does give themselves value, who, even though the cards haven't aligned perfectly in their life, are still putting in all of the effort to make sure that at the end of the day, that when they rest their head on their pillow, they can say that they did everything that they could to change their life. Because you can always do that. You can always change your life no matter how shitty it is. There's always one more at bat. That's all I have for today. I hope that helps you somehow. These videos aren't always really to give you value, if I have to be super honest. But I find that when I speak from the heart and I just talk about something that's super interesting to me, and I go into it deeply and share of myself in a way that's authentic to me, I automatically give value because I become someone who is relatable. And going back to the we are all one, we're all the same person, it only makes sense that would happen. So anyways, I just want to thank you for watching it until the end of the video. If you did, leave a comment. Leave a comment on the video. It helps with getting more people attracted to the video and to get more engagement, which is important for other people to see my content. Either way, thank you for being here, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good day. Peace.